Greetings. Just a quick post-Christmas Friday New Year's Eve video. Hope everyone drank too much and ate too much. I know I ate too much. Now, I found this article on livewire.com and it's about a submission to the COVID inquiry. Made some very relevant and interesting points. Opens up with a very, very correct statement. Now, the article is by Jonathan Rockford of Narrow Road Capital. And he ticks all the boxes: disaster on health, economic and human rights grounds. Now, he's actually referring to it, but he's careful not to mention the word debt, which I've got at the top there: billions in interest each year on perpetual intergenerational unpayable debt, because it's up over $1 trillion now. But he does mention the effects while not mentioning the D word. His boss, or his he feels it's wise for his career to not actually mention that. Now, again, here's where he's hitting the right marks, but he's leaving out very, very important statistics. He uses the phrase shortening the lives of those who had limited lifespans left. Well, what does he just say? Oh, people over 80. And he's got here, COVID was not significantly worse than, no, it was not worse at all. In fact, Jane Herdlicker on the ABC made that statement and was uncorrected. And Karl Stefanovic actually said it under his breath as they were going to a break. I've got both those recordings. And those aren't mistakes or anything. They intentionally do it on government-owned and government-licensed media to then say, well, you knew, we had your consent. We all know that. So this part here explains a bit where he's coming from as far as not mentioning specific words, because he doesn't mention the RBA, he doesn't mention banks. He says, in column in the AFR, I haven't read that column yet, but I'll go and have a look at it. Tens of billions of dollars in handouts were given to businesses. He's kind of trying to include the small businesses that received a couple of thousand, but he doesn't mention the billions lost to Aspen Medical and he certainly doesn't mention the 400 billion that got transferred by the RBA to the banks after Josh Frydenberg raised the debt ceiling. Now, he does the right thing and goes after the media and how hysterical they were, but he only mentions the ABC and says they were the worst. Well, does anyone remember how on 9, 7 and 10, all their current affairs and news shows, there'd sometimes be 10 reporters on the screen with Carl and Ali, I think it was, would be going to each one. And they were reporting on things like at the top there. There's been a death at a nursing home. And I could forget some of their names, just staring at the camera, looking really serious, going back to the serious presenters. Oh, that's terrible. Now, about 400 people die each day. And probably a quarter of them, maybe half, are in nursing homes. So today, probably 100 to 200 people in nursing homes died. There's not one reporter reporting on it. Now, no person in certainly the financial sector who's making commentary is ever going to mention the V word, and not even refer to it in roundabout words. It's just not mentioned at all. Now, he does praise the Swedish response, and I guess his recommendation in putting that in is that that's what we should do next time, which, well, of course, they were jabbed to the hilt like everybody else. So even though he's not covering some of the crucial parts, at least this submission is targeting what they used to then coerce and force people to take what they didn't want. Now, it's not a bad article. I'm giving it about a 4 out of 10 because they did want you to submit evidence of what you've said. Now, I guess it's easily defined, but he really should have put links to it. He put the links to the Swedish, but he didn't really highlight what the government was saying and the crux of it, which was that they told you that it was only the flu. They told you that only old people over 80 died, but it was a change in health policy that they used hysteria and fear to get you to agree to. And he doesn't really highlight that, whereas I do in my submission. So we now have all of the evidence and all of the links. And after the new year, I'm going to start publishing, as I mentioned before, on Rumble. And what I put in my submission is probably 10% of what I wanted to, but it's still very damning because they were limited in the resources you could put in. So anyway, have a good new year, everyone. And I will be back next year, really diving deep into this, and I'll start putting up videos probably in the first week. All right, that's it for this one.